Where is that running at?
It's working now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to. I got something running somewhere.
You gotta mute it.
I don't see where it's coming from. Where is that running at?
It's working now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to. I got something running somewhere. Hold on, guys.
You gotta mute it.
Yeah, I can't see where it's coming from. Hold on, everybody in chat. I've got this running somewhere, and I don't see it.
Alt-Tab.
Is that on your side, Matt?
Not on my side.
Yeah, I can't see where. All right, I found it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this happened to me a couple streams back. Anyway, yeah, I thought I went live, guys. Welcome, this is Jerry with 3DHP. Welcome to my live stream. I haven't live streamed since January, and I forgot to hit the go live button. I'm clicking buttons and getting everything going. And Matt's like, "Where is it? I don't see it on YouTube." But here we are. Matt, how you doing? Today I got a special guest, Matt, from Inside the Mind of Matt. How's it going, buddy?
Great, buddy. Thanks for being live.
I thought I had this all worked down to a T, and I forgot to hit the go live, and then I had another stream running. So anyway.
I was looking out for you, man. I like a multi-screens help, brother.
I'd like to say some hello to some people in chat. Zolan, hello. Victor, let's see. Betty Boot 45, that's my wife. Robert Reynolds, how you doing? Thomas, 3D Print Viking. Dan, Mr. Buttram, Robert Reynolds. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you could join us tonight.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, Matt, you've been 3D printing for about how long, and what got you interested in it?
Well, I got my first 3D printer as a Christmas present in December of 2016. And I had debuted my YouTube announcement, made my first kind of video that I was getting it. And I was here and I was going to be using it to cast in as a tool in my casting.
Mm-hmm.
And I started my YouTube channel with the idea that I was going to be kind of like working on some crazy idea that I had to melt some of the fruits of my labors, the scraps from my job that I'm able to take home and melt them down and just, I don't know, just make some stuff, you know?
Yeah, I've seen you got a lot of cool videos on your YouTube channel where you're taking conduit and such and melting it down like lava basically and pouring it into sand molds, I guess.
And well, I started out with sand and I've tried some plaster of Paris. And my most recent investment was a suspender slurry, which is like kind of like what they use in the industry. You know, when they're doing it on a mass scale, they have this big vat of this mixture of porcelain and sand and stuff, and they dip it, and it kind of works its way in all the crevices and stuff, and they have a gating system set up so that the metal flows through it, and then they put it in a big oven and melt out. You know, they're doing wax. You know, but back to how I got into it was my research that I was doing. You know, here I am. I want to cast metal, so I turned to the YouTube University because prior to me being a YouTube personality, I was just sitting at home like watching shit. I get a wild idea on something and I get on YouTube and I learn about it, you know? Like my son was actually the one who started that whole thing, because the kid comes out with a Rubik's Cube and he shuffles it up for me and then he solves it for me. I'm like, how did you learn how to do that? He says, YouTube. I'm like, I got to check this YouTube thing out, you know? So I was learning some things, you know, like I taught myself how to do the Rubik's Cube. I figured, you know, he's my clone. Like if you were to see this kid next to me, you know, you would like think that's my son. Yeah, there's no like chip fell off and there I am, you know, and so I got on the YouTube and learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube.
Uh-huh.
Then what was it that we were going through some stuff and that I had from like before I was in the current relationship, you know, kind of stuff that I brought from where I was before. We won't go there, but there was a whole new world before the one I've been in like for 15 years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a harmonica amongst the stuff, and it was like I started to blow out. I kind of knew how to play it, but like anybody that you would give a harmonica, you know, they're just going to blow in and suck in and, you know, and move their way around and, you know, like not really like pick up a guitar and say, I want to take lessons. Teach me how to play the guitar, you know?
To Robert Reynolds, yes, that's a green screen behind me. My hobby room, the other side of the house, I don't have room to put my main streaming setup in there. And I'm currently printing on the new Creality Ender 3 V2 is set up in about the location where my chair is. So that's a green screen. And if I vape and blow smoke, you'll see it go, you know, put my hand here, it kind of disappears. But yeah, I figured I'd just take a picture of it. Then if I want to show you, let's see, anything behind me, like there over there on the table back there's my Hypercube and my other PC that I do a lot of streams on. When I jump in with you guys weekly, that's that other computer in that room there. So anyway, let me show some pictures you got here. You 3D printed the hand for the cake on this one?
Yeah, my girl is like a culinary artiste.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And she like, from like when her kids were growing up, you know, instead of going and buying an expensive cake, when you got 5 kids, you know, you better learn how to cook, you know? And this woman learned how to cook, but she's got at the current moment, like 17 grandchildren now. And when we got together, there was 0. Right? Mm-hmm. But she makes all of her grandkids like cakes. So one of the things that she loves is like just coming down and she's like, hey, I need a snowman cookie cutter. And I'm like, what? Or she asked for a melted snowman cookie cutter. And I'm like, what does that look like? You know,
that's pretty cool.
She pulled up a picture that she found on Facebook or Pinterest or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And no, I didn't get the see me C and C Delta.
You go back to comments, see what I'm missing here.
Yeah, if you want to direct a comment, Mr. Buttram is leading the example on how to direct it towards one of the speakers. I
Red Light, how you doing?
But he is actually tagging me so that I know that he's wanting to ask me. But no, actually, I didn't get it. I got this instead.
Cool. What type is that?
This is the Mavic 2 Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know nowadays everybody's calling them drones. I've always called them quadcopters. I guess
I prefer the term quadcopter.
Yeah.
A drone indicates a military intended vehicle with surveillance or male intent towards other human beings. A quadcopter is just something some dudes flying around to see the world from a perspective that you can only see from that with your feet still on the ground.
Robert Reynolds, my Ender 3 version 2 that came yesterday. I built it this morning. I've done a lot of footage shaping it. It's printing a little cat right now. Then I'm going to print a dog. I'll wrap up the video and start editing tomorrow. Then over the next couple days, I'm going to print a whole bunch of cool stuff using the Creality slicer that came on the SD card rather than simplified 3D that I normally use for everything. And I want to see if a person that knows absolutely nothing about 3D printing was to buy it, use just what's on the card, how well they can print. And we'll see how that goes without me using my slicer and my profile that I know works great. And then I'm going to do other videos on updating the flashing firmware on the board and on the screen.
Nice. Robert asked me a question if I was still casting. To answer the question, as I'm not going to be smart ass here, but I mean, I'll never stop really. I have a couple of projects that are kind of like inside the mind of Matt, so to say. Here's the problem is that my current living situation is one that was taken kind of in duress. We needed to find a place, and this was like kind of suited our needs. It had a garage. They would allow a dog. It had enough room. It had this huge maker space that, you know, like goes that way and then goes that way.
That's
and
huge.
Then on the other side of this, if you've watched any of my videos, especially like just like random drone stuff, I know it's not for everybody, you know, but I'm not like calling out you or anything. I'm just using you as an example. Okay. Your channel is 3D printing and painting. Okay. So when somebody comes to your channel, they expect to see you've 3D printed something and you're painting it.
Or CNC, anything basically that is 3D something. My abbreviations 3D-HP stands for 3D Hobby Printing or 3D Hobby Projects. Whoever I'm talking to, I can change the last word at any given time. Hobby Projects or Hobby Printing.
I'm just saying, though, somebody does a search for 3D printing and painting.
Yeah, hopefully I'll pop up.
Channel, right? They're going to expect that they're probably going to see some 3D printing and some painting, right?
Zolan's got a question for you.
Right. Well, let me finish what I'm saying. Okay.
All right.
So when somebody comes to and they see inside the mind of Matt, okay,
that can be anything.
Probably some dude named Matt, and he's got some crazy shit going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
when I first heard of you, that's what I thought. Yes.
So what my point that I was getting at is like, I didn't really, when I came up with the name for my channel, I didn't really want to like put myself in one particular peg in one hole. You know what I'm saying? It's more about like some crazy dude that's gonna, you know, I try to edit it, you know, so that it's viewable. I try to, you know, add some music. I try to make it entertaining. That's what I try to do. No matter what I'm doing, I try to make it somewhat entertaining. It's not for everybody, apparently. The mixed content, that is.
When I first started out on Facebook and YouTube, I was Jerry's Projects. And then as things went on, people on Facebook, they can't search out Jerry's Projects. They don't know what that's about. And I don't want the group just to be about me. So then I changed it to 3D printing and painting. Kevin Sharp over in the UK is 3D print and paint. And so I decided to be 3D printing and painting here in the US.
Nice. So there was another question. Matt don't want to get pigeonholed into 3D print. Yeah, I don't want to get 3D Buttram. Yeah, on the Shop of Wonders. Exactly. I like that. I had some comments in some of my videos where it was like I was the love child of Dr. Strangelove and Borad. That was one. And that I was the illegitimate child of Mel Brooks, which I take that as the biggest compliment you could give me. You know what I'm saying? That means I created a piece of comical art, you know. But
On
that's been,
Zolan's channel, he's been on a lot of live streams where he has a face app program, and then I had a voice mod. So then once I seen the face app, I went on Steam, I guess it was, and I bought it. And my camera tracks my face when you move your eyes, your head, your mouth. And then I had a voice mod program that TH3D Tim told me about a year ago. So I put that on there, and I've had too much fun with it. I even tried to do a live stream about 2 weeks ago by myself, and it was a spur of the moment thing. Nobody joined in. So I sat there for an hour and a half just talking in a weird voice with a devil face on screen. I have the video posted. It's kind of stupid, but I'm going to leave it up. I thought it was funny. A couple people gave me thumbs down, but I actually thought it was funny. And, you know, I'm 56 years old. I'm just trying to have a good time, enjoy myself, and do whatever.
You know what I did one time? I pretended like somebody hijacked my phone, and I recorded myself singing in the shower, and I just posted it. You know, it wasn't monetized, so I'm not making any money off it because I was singing somebody else's song. But
yeah,
that was what was inside of mine. I'm not tooting horns or anything like that. Okay, when I talk about myself right now, okay, but I am so talented in so many different ways that there's not enough time in my day in order to express all of them. You know, musically inclined, art inclined, you know, you've seen what I could do with a camera, you know, and that takes some of the stuff that I've made, like Shalom from a skewed view 3D. Okay.
show them, yes.
Show him. I made a video where I kept saying his name wrong, and I like took a little you'll get this, where I took a little sniglet of Loki standing next to the Incredible Hulk in one of the Marvel movies, and he picks him up and he because Shalom is like freaking this, and I'm like freaking this, you know, but he's a good guy, and I made a video. He designed something, and I cast it.
Wow.
This was designed by him, and trying to look for something. This is
solid. It's nice.
That used to be aluminum wire.
Yeah, it's a sai for fighting against swords.
Well, no, this used to be wire that I melted down and made into this, you know. So, but yeah, that's how it all started. Mr. Butcher, did you ever get the Virtual Founder candy stick to polish? Did you not watch the video? You got to watch the video. I can't spoil the video.
Zolan says my wife is behind me saying Matt sounds like me. Robert Reynolds really liked it. Let's show some other pictures here. FPV. Let's talk about FPV.
FPV. So yeah, all of those little trays are designed by me, as simple as they are. But I measured up and designed them and printed them and to organize my whoop garage, as I call it.
What kind of, those are all whoops or?
Yeah, those are the top ones are let's see, just the one top middle is brushed. All the rest of them are all brushless. Mm-hmm. The top right one and the top left one are ones that I built from just ordering the parts and putting it together, soldering it, and flashing the firmware and everything. The other
all those batteries are charged or they're not charged?
The green are good to go and the red are dead.
Okay.
Those are my, kind of like.
Green is good, red is dead.
You got it.
Here's a little quadcopter I got years ago that I bought. It's made by Horizon Hobbies. It's called a Nano Blade, and it'll auto level and this and that, and it's got lights on it. It doesn't have a camera or nothing. It's very light. Cost me like $95 a long time ago. And then last year for Christmas, I think it was last year, my son went to Walmart and he bought me this. I've never flown it. It lights up. It makes noise. Darth Vader's little ship here from
I
Star
want
Wars.
to
Pretty cool.
FPV that, man.
Yeah. I need to
But
start doing more with it, learn how to fly it.
this is one of my newest FPV investments, and it's a multi-protocol radio. But I could probably find it's already programmed in here, something that I could match it up and fly one of those with this. I want one of those.
Yeah, Zolan just got into drones. He's been showing a lot of stuff on his channel.
No, I got this for my birthday.
Hello, Chewy.
I gotta find. Oh,
Do you have a resin printer? Have you ever got into resin printing?
I'd like to. There's they make some resin printer or some wax based stuff.
Zolan's got the same radio. I used to have a DX6i, I think it was called, because I was into foam built airplanes. I built 4 or 5 planes. I never did fly them, and then I kind of dropped the hobby and got into 3D printing, and then that was it. My life's over.
I'm trying to copy this and send it to you in the chat. I'm going to send it to you in Messenger.
All right.
It's my TikTok video that I made with my new Go. If you want to show that, it's got you can even play the audio because it's on TikTok, so it won't matter.
Okay, let me share the screen here and we'll play that.
Yeah, this is the Insta360 Go. I had it clipped to my chest right here like this, and the purpose of this motorcycle trip was to go get 3D print and filament. my black TPU, because FPV and TPU are like buddies, you know.
What kind of a bike do you ride?
That is a 2008 Kawasaki Vulcan Nomad, 1600 cc.
It's nice.
Twin 4-speaker Rockford Fosgate subwoofers with a Pioneer Super Tuner. It's bad. Awesome motorcycle. I bought it secondhand. The first guy traded it in for the next year, the next model of this particular bike, the Nomad. They bumped it up from a 16 to a 1700. It became a belt drive instead of a shaft drive, and they added a 6-speed in it for like extra cruising down the highway. But they changed the saddlebags, the way they open, the whole tank changed the shape, the seat changed its position and stuff. I didn't like the upgrade myself, but the dude traded my bike in for the next year model, and I drove I live in southern New York, and I drove up basically like I go like a couple miles further and I'd be in Canada, kind of north, and picked up my motorcycle and put it in that. That's a whole, we could talk about that for the rest of the hour. That was a fiasco.
I'd like to share my screen again and show everybody your Facebook group or your YouTube channel.
Yeah, man. I have like 350 videos. How many? Does it tell you?
You got over 4,700 subscribers. I don't see the videos, but I can scroll through them.
I'm famous, man.
Yeah, you've been putting a lot of work, a lot of videos. Takes a long time to edit and film and tape and
some of those, man, they took me way too long.
Anybody in chat that would like to join Matt's channel, there's a link in the description below the video.
I hope that everybody is subscribed to both of our channels, because I'm subscribed to your channel, man.
Yeah, you got a lot of great content here.
There's your all the way back right there. You just went all the way down to the beginning right there.
Yeah.
But they started to get better as time went on. You know, I started out, I had like a cheap camera, and like I was using Windows Movie Maker, man, like free software built into Windows kind of
Mhm.
stuff. Where
Yeah, I used to use YouTube software. Then a couple of years ago, they said they're going to get rid of it. So I went out and bought a Movie Studio Platinum, and I'm on version 16 right now. I can't stay current with the newest one; it costs too much. So I wait a year and a half till it drops in price, and then I upgrade. I'm on 16 now.
now it actually cost me money to have my YouTube channel, man. Like like $40 a month. Well, I take that. I do have some Patreon supporters, and I love you guys. Thank you so much. You know, a couple of guys that just, I mean, it ain't much, but you know, it's like a token that I'm not just wasting my time. You know, there is actually people that validate the effort that I put forth, you know, even if it's just a couple of bucks, you know. But the biggest thing that, if I could just like preach for a minute to the viewers about helping the creators, you know, when you watch a video from front to back, what you've given the creator is your time. Okay, when you watch the ads, then you kind of like tip the guy a little bit, you know what I mean, like throwing him a dime for that time, and it didn't even cost you. It was like by watching an ad. All right, and then like liking it means like you acknowledged it to me that you liked it enough to say, hey man, good job, I liked it. Now then that's the end of where most of the experience it goes, you know what I'm saying. But if you really like if that made you laugh, it made you cry, it made you want to like investigate something further, it inspired you in any, it stimulated any part of your human body enough to watch it from front to back, then share it. Tell everybody, hey, go watch this video. That's what sharing does, is like you want everybody else to experience it. So that you got 300 friends, now you told 300 people, go watch this video. You got 600 Twitter followers. You say, hey, I like this video on YouTube. You should go watch it. That's what like turns a snowball into a snowman. And when you make a snowman, then you get people to want to make snowmen. You, you know what I'm saying? And inspiration and helping, it just goes further than just watching.
Whenever I 3D print anything like I have, and I post it all over Facebook and many groups, I get a lot of thumbs up. I love comments. I kind of don't like when people just scroll by the page and go like. I love comments. It took a long time to print and paint and expenses and time. I love when people take a minute, type a comment. It's awesome. Makes me feel good.
All those things.
Comments mean everything, good, bad, or otherwise. I love comments.
Because you're at that stage now where you could actually, you know, start making some money, Jerry.
Yeah, I've got like 1,500 subs. I've been on YouTube for, I don't know, 8-10 years, but I never put out any content. And
So
just
how long does
recently,
it take for you to actually paint something?
usually a week. Like I watch TV, I sit in the living room with a portable table and I tinker, watch TV, and paint. Usually, unless I have to airbrush something, but usually 4 or 5 days, depending on what it is.
Turn the camera on.
Huh?
Turn the camera on.
Oh yeah, I know. Film it.
Put
One
it
time
on.
I filmed Lauren Hardy. I printed the Lauren Hardy out. They featured on the Lauren Hardy on Game Body. When you go to that page to buy Lauren Hardy, it shows my picture. But yeah, I did a video on that. I'm not a professional painter by any means, but you know,
It's
got
content.
a lot to learn.
It's something for people to watch. You know.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
you,
I love
you
watching
get
people's
that
videos
knowledge,
on YouTube. I sit there, I'm watching TV, I'm eating whatever, and I just watch a video from beginning to end to see what they're doing, whether they're hanging out, chit chatting, whatever it may be. And quite often, when I'm watching on my TV, we got a big TV in the living room. I'll have it on my phone on chat. I'll have it on my phone also. And then I hear somebody say something on my phone before I hear it on the TV, and then I comment on my phone. And I've got big old fingers, so I usually hit the wrong button and I post comments while I'm watching the live stream. Here's something that you did here I want to show.
Yeah.
So we got 3D printing and casting all in one here, right?
Well, the middle one is the result of me casting one of the outer ones.
Uh-huh.
So I started with one of the outer ones and I did my molding process, and that's what I came out with. Yeah.
It's really nice. And he's going to go get it. But thank you, everybody in chat. I really appreciate you coming by and watching the stream here. They'll get better as the weeks go on. We'll have, great people every week. I'm going to have somebody great every week.
But every pedal, brother, man.
Cool.
And like I shared this in the group, and I had some people that said, that's kind of impressive, So
Very nice.
I did have some shrinkage issues right in here, but I mean, it's all just been a learning experience, I'm just taking some ideas about what somebody else has shared it and putting it in a format that this is I don't want to get up on a
rant.
A poor me, but it's like I started doing something that like nobody else was really like doing, like I'm showing full on freaking projects, produce, making, casting, coming up with this untraditional way of casting, people saying, well, feeding it up through the bottom, it's gravity feed. There's a method, that I'm using that some dude out there has the math.
And you got videos on all that, right? All that stuff you're working on.
I mean, yeah, everything that I've done, I've produced a video, and like me making this, all right, was more than just 3D printing it. I designed the vents and the system to make the metal flow. In Fusion 360, I went and designed it, 3D printed it, came up with this, way for the metal to flow, and then made a video on it with 4 poems that I wrote myself.
This is kind of a funny question from Mr. Buttram. Have you cast any quadcopter parts, which they might be too heavy?
I casted some quadcopter prizes. some the awards for first, second, and third place, which I don't know if he watched that, but he I cast them, and then I powder coated them, and then I had them laser engraved, and did a whole production with it, because that's what I try to do. I don't just make, some me standing behind a desk, in some fancy studio and recording some high-tech machine. I'm like going out there and setting shit on fire.
Monday night at 4:00 every week, Jim from the Edge of Tech has a live stream on every week, and he was showing a video of a printer that Corality is working on, and I would like to share the screen and show it for all those that didn't tune in. This is a prototype. It's not in the U.S. yet. I sure hope it is, but let me run this video and you guys can check this out. It's called the CR30 Prototype in Action. It only lasts about 3 minutes.
Mr. Buttram, if you've watched all of my videos, then you wouldn't be asking silly questions about machinable wax, because I've made 2 videos about it. Actually, 3 videos. The belt printer, man, it's freaking amazing, dude. Could you just imagine, like, just setting your printer. You can't really, because the way the slicer works, I don't know if you know this, but like you have to tell it how many you want it to print and like slice it. And it's like on the in the slicer, it's just like all these models just kind of lined up, you know. But yeah, basically, you know, my take on this is like this is an open source project that's out there
Well,
called.
there's patents in the U.S. from U.S. companies or people that have patents on it. So whether it winds up here or not, I don't know. But if it does, it'd be cool to have one. Just think you could print a sword like 10 foot long. As
That's
long as
what
it's tilted back far enough to go straight and it sticks on the bed and the weight of the sword don't flip over the printer, you could just like here's a
That's
smaller
what the
one.
guy designed it for.
Yeah.
The guy that originally designed it, it was for big ass. I can't remember his name. His real name is Mike. He's an awesome dude. I made a couple of videos with him. I interviewed him at Merv. But that's what he designed it for, was to be able to print long stuff in one piece, you know?
Yeah.
Because that was the dude's gig. He was printing like the biggest stuff you could print, you know?
That's really cool.
I want to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, the quality there came out really nice. It's very nice.
I tried the machinable wax. Yes, I made a video. I actually reached out to them, asked them, and the stuff was like really hard to deal with, man. It's like trying to print TPU with PLA settings. It was hard, man. I couldn't get it to stick to the bed. But after that, I mean, it's wax, you know? So, Midnight Giant, thank you, Robert to the rescue. I love
Yeah,
the
they both
White Knight.
Robert and Mr. Buttram.
Yeah, see, if I just pay attention to not that, I know the pop-up chat so I can see it live, but it's like distracting. So, shit. So
it only took Reality 3D about a week, maybe less than a week, to get that to me in the mail from the time they shipped it. One morning, I got up at 1 a.m. It said it was in Tennessee. I got out of bed about 8 o'clock, and I checked my tracking again. It was in North Las Vegas, Nevada. And then I got it. I had to go to the dentist yesterday and unfortunately get 2 more teeth pulled. And a half hour before that, FedEx was out front with the ender. It's currently built and doing a test print. Ooh, cool. There are full screens, you.
I'm not showing you what's in it. I just know I got a live stream coming. I've been meaning to do it, but it's like, oh God. I had to take a nap to do this, brother. I got my hair cut, by the way, everybody, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I seen the video there. You look different.
I started growing my hair when...
Here's a mini Joel I did in PETG recently. That's Sunlow PETG on my TiVo Tarantula Pro. And there's no skirt. There's no wrapped anything. It came out good. Very minor stringing. Oh, Joel bot. What's that, like 300%?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I need to print one. Lot of supports.
I want to cast it. This was no supports.
No supports?
No supports.
Wow.
On an unheated bed. I printed it on a Delta.
Wow.
On a free printer, man.
By looking at it, I'd assume you need some supports here and there, but I'll try that. Hold on, let me full screen you.
Okay. Like right up underneath the arm a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in here maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Clean left the razor knife and touch it up a little bit, it'll be fine.
Yeah. My idea, I had it with like a hot air gun.
Mm-hmm. That's PLA?
This is PLA, yeah.
Okay.
But I wanted to cast it. And then I wanted to send it to him. And I wanted him to auction it off for charity. But it's one of them things I just haven't got to, you know what I mean? But that would be cool to cast something like that. I cast a Benchy and I gave it to Daniel Neray.
Mm-hmm.
Like, gave it to him. But yeah, man, that's cool stuff to print. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm printing just drone stuff. Who's that?
Mini Chris Wycocky or Wycork. I can't pronounce his last name right.
From where? I know him. I just can't think of
Chris Wycocky or Wyskorsky, or I can't pronounce the name properly, but that's a little mini Chris there. He has a lot of different little statues. That's done by Wexter. That was over on Thingiverse.
Nice.
And here's a Black Panther helmet I did. This is printed on my Hypercube. It does have some layer problems about every quarter of an inch. I printed that in tan, printed solid PLA. Yeah. At like 105%. That's a free file over on Do3D's website, do3d.com's website. You can download that for free. The back separates so you can put it on your head. And then I printed the eyepieces separately and painted them.
Did you have to like try, test fit it on your head?
Yeah, it fits fine. Typically, I printed other helmets from different places, and sometimes they don't fit, so I have to go to like 105, 110%. I got a big head. So
Jerry, I was stalking your Facebook earlier.
Okay.
You're a pretty buff dude, man. What you used to do?
I used to be, when I worked construction for 35 years, but I retired at 50, like 49, I retired, started getting my pension at 50. Then I had a lot of medical problems. I was in the hospital. I lost a lot of weight. I lost all the bulk in my arms. My wife's like, you don't have any muscles anymore. Anyway, and I'm overweight right now. I need to lose about 50 pounds, but my health is getting better. I've had some issues.
Nice.
Here's something here. Here's probably one of my biggest prints, probably one of my favorite. It's my son's favorite print that I did.
That's amazing, man.
That's a pretty cool Spawn. That's printed at like 250% scale. Tony Chambers had that commissioned over on 3D Model Crowdfund on Facebook. You can buy the STL if you'd like to print that. But that's a cool model. He
commissioned you to paint that, print it and paint it?
Yeah, printed it and painted it. And then I have one for sale at 150% scale. I have one I'm selling right now anywhere in the U.S. at $300, including shipping anywhere in the U.S. But it's not that big. It's about half that size.
But still, that was going to be my question, is if you would relinquish, like, what's something like that pay you?
Something like that would probably be worth $1,000 if my son ever sold it, which he won't, but if he ever did. The small statues in front of it, those are plastic little Spawn statues like you buy. He collects hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Spawn statues. And
so
then
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Spawn mask next to it, which has green lights, lights up for the eyes, sitting there on the table. I printed him one and myself one.
So if you pay for one of these STLs, it gives you the right to sell it at that point, right? A printed portion.
Any designer would allow anybody to sell a small amount of anything, but not mass produce.
And not sell the STL, obviously.
This file was given to me by Tony Chambers, and I printed it. I showed it off in a lot of Facebook groups. And, of course, I promote them by having a link where you can buy it at. And he knew that I was going to make another one that sell. He doesn't care. If I wanted to mass produce them, I would have to get a hold of him, work something out where I would give him so much for every one that I sold, but I'm not doing that. Pretty much anything you get anywhere or print, you could sell as long as you're not mass producing it, or you want to sell it like a business on an Etsy store. If you did, you need to contact that designer and get a verbal agreement or something you can print out where he allows you to do it, or you pay him a commission on the ones that you sell. So
now, are you artistically inclined?
When I was a kid, I was good at drawing. I haven't tried since. I have a Wacom small tablet here. I need to get into modeling and learn it, but I just never have the time.
You have the knack for the colors. You actually can visualize.
Sometimes I Google pics and I print out lots of things and I try to match things, or I'll see somebody else's work and I try to get ideas, trying to figure out how did they paint that or how they come up with that color. And occasionally I'll PM somebody and ask them.
The best painters had live muses, brother, right?
Yeah. Jim from Edutech. Hey, how you doing, Jim? Good to see you.
Yeah, what's
about
up,
you a minute
buddy?
ago.
Time for a haircut, Jimbo. TikTok challenge.
I
TikTok.
bet he's holding the baby right now while he's watching this.
Jim's a good. Jim's a good shit. Invoice your printer, rental time. That's it. Yeah, I mean it's time, material, electricity, but once again, Jerry, you're taking it to the next level.
1 second. Robert Reynolds, the one on Nico's site is not the same. This is a completely different model. His looks similar to this, but it's not the same as this one. It's a different file, completely different model. His is not as detailed as this one is. And like I say, this came from 3D Model Crowdfund. But yes, he does have one there that looks similar.
This is pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
It works out pretty good the way this is.
Let's see what else. We got some cool pictures here I'd like to show.
Yeah.
Let's see. FPV. This is printed, right?
Yeah, that's the nutmeg. That thing's a piece of shit.
Is that PET G, PTG?
That's TPU.
Oh, wow.
That's all.
Wow, very soft.
Yeah, I got it. It's completely flexible. So you flying along, you bump into somebody. The ducks are, the props are completely protected, but the thing flew like crap. It's a tuning issue, here's some, we're gonna throw some technical shit out. This is the squirt, and this is the daddy of the nutmeg. And it's more got a solid carbon fiber top with the standoffs and a carbon fiber bottom, but the ducts are still TPU. But quadcopters have a motherboard called a flight controller that runs firmware, and its main thing going on in that flight controller is called a PID loop. Just like a 3D printer. It's got 3 different numbers, for when a 3D printer's heating up the bed and heating up the nozzle. You know this, obviously. You've done a PID tuning, right, Jerry?
Yes.
You ever use the auto function?
Not sure.
Like there's a function that you can type in, and with the parameters of how many cycles and what temperature you want it to go on. And it'll go, and then it'll spit out like a projected PID number, and you put those numbers in, and it'll keep that number. Well, same thing with with a quadcopter. You got the actual where the copter is, where it thinks it is, and the commands. You telling it what it's to do and how closely it's matching it is all depending on this whole PID. But kind of like with those are all TPU. Those are grayscapes, the corners.
Okay.
So I got, let me frame myself. I got posts and a side post with a fabric, and it's PVC pipe, and it goes in that. And when I pull them out of the ground, I drive rebar into the ground and then slide the PVC over it, and they stand up, and we've got a track,
I tested some TPU last year, and when I got done with the one video, I figured I'll never use this again unless I'm going to build tires for a car. I didn't really see a use for TPU, what I could really use it for, but you're showing me some ideas here.
Oh, dude, GoPro mounts like crazy, man. That's what, well, earlier you showed a picture, just the ends of the, our TPU, the GoPro mount is TPU. My camera mount is TPU. My antenna mount is TPU. All stuff that I printed.
What does to build? What kind of money? What does something like that cost to build?
This right here is probably with all the components that I got in it.
400?
Probably like 280-ish. I did just upgrade, so yeah, it's probably in the $300 range now.
I know on FPV goggles, which are fairly expensive, you have 2 lenses, but then on the cheaper versions, it's got one screen like a cell phone.
Box goggles is what they call them.
How do those work compared to the other type?
It has. I never used box goggles personally. I tried some on, and it's basically like this screen, that's right in front of you, And my problem is I wear glasses. Okay. Let's tell the truth. That's the ends of these. I wore glasses my whole life. I had LASIK surgery done about 10 years ago, and the doctor told me that eventually my age would like take my close vision away from me, and it has. These aren't prescription. I just wear the shaded ones for effect for the video, but
Yeah.
these are just readers. They're 2.5, but I have that vision. I need it the close. So my problem with goggles is they got to be in focus, So I've had to make investments in goggles, and they're not cheap.
Robert Reynolds has a question. Matt, do you have more quadcopters and 3D printers?
Yes. I sent you the one picture with my collection. It's got all of them laid out. It's like one of the first ones.
Yes, Jim, I'm using StreamYard. I started paying for it now. Yeah, they improved the 720p. The quality looks really good. And I'm looking at over here on YouTube where I'm streaming it muted, and the quality looks great. So I guess I'll never need to go to the Pro plan, even if I could afford it, because 720p with their added improvements the other day, it looks great. Very happy with the quality here.
It seems to be. I like to be the way that you got the control of the stuff, the effects and stuff. And I bet you if you were to dive into it, you would be able to do some fancy
stuff.
When
I used to stream last year, right before I went live, I'd get nervous. I'd get a cramp in my back, like my adrenaline rush, and I want it to go smooth. And once again, the beginning of this stream got screwed up, and I thought I was live, and I wasn't live. And then I was talking somewhere on a link. I had a tab open somewhere, and I finally found it.
Yeah, we had a little hiccup. That's all.
Let's see what was on here. Some of the newer goggles have focal adjustments now. I was set on the way as I need them because the PRK I had done.
Yeah, what'd you order? What kind of goggles did you get? Jim, how you doing with the flying? Jim went and took my suggestion and got a drone.
Oh, did he?
FPV, he's flying it like FPV. How you doing with that, buddy?
Yeah, just playing with the different buttons and things here and trying to look at chat and trying to look up at the camera. And it's fun getting used to. So, anyway.
Yeah, but I think that, for just a suggestion for your side, because we're, I know it might just be about, I'm the guest, but we're talking to each other here. But
the guest is king. Whenever I do a stream, I try to throw a little content in, but it's all about the guest and then whatever they have to talk about.
But I think that if you were just to do I don't know if you have a camera, you could set up a time lapse. But just set up a camera while you're painting, not live, but just set it up as a time lapse.
And then later look at it and see if I like it.
Get that shit together and put it up of me a time lapse and me painting.
Yeah.
Dude, that would get sick views, man.
Yeah, and people can get ideas. I'm not an expert at anything, but I'm pretty good at everything. That's kind of how it is. You never stop learning.
You know what an expert is? Break down the word. An X is a has-been, right? And a spurt is a drip under pressure. So an expert is nothing but a has-been drip under pressure. I'm a jack of all trades, and I am a master of one.
I wish I had more time to fly, but I got a bunch of foamies sitting at home.
Yeah, he's got to feed babies. Foamies, bunch of foamies sitting at home. Man, got to take time and get up in the air, man. That's what I ain't got. My kid is growing. I only have one kid, and I'll buy that from you, Jerry.
Anybody that's just joining the stream, here's what I got for quadcopters. Before I got into 3D printing, I got this little Blade Nano for $95. and it'll auto level and all that. You fly it in the house. And then I went and built a really big one that I never could get to auto, whatever you call it, hover properly. And I sold that with a bunch of foam build planes that I built before 3D printing. And then last year for my birthday, my wife reminds me it's my birthday, not Christmas. My son bought me this from Walmart. It lights up, makes all kinds of noises. I have yet to fly it, but it's really cool. It's cute.
Do you have the box?
Yeah, I got everything for it. Yeah.
I later on, if you was like snap a picture of the box, I'm serious. I want to see if I can get one of them and see if I can. I watched a dude like sync up a bunch of like Walmart bought stuff, you know, and that would be something cool that to FPV that, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah, Michael Castle. I was getting into Dollar Tree foam board planes, and there's a website that they do that. I can't think of the name of the place, or the people, the guys that do that. But I made a bunch of foam built planes, and I bought a bunch of expensive motors. I even printed out, or I built a jet out of foam board, and I had like a impeller jet type engine on it, kind of like what they got on Wave Runners. But I never did fly it. I wound up selling everything. I had a DX6i remote for it, controller for it. Chad says, I bought a Parrot AR when I lived in Vegas. I hated how it flew, so it sits in a box collecting dust.
FPV it, man. FPV.
Well, the biggest thing with flying anything, you know, when it's going away from you, it's not a big deal. When you turn around, now all your controls got backwards. But if you have on goggles, you can see it like you're driving a car. You can see where you're going.
That's it. I flew airplanes. Like
yes.
For a long time, you know, I had a big fleet of that too, because I don't do anything in moderation. I don't have just one. Well, I do have just one motorcycle, and I do have just one girlfriend. So those are the only thing. And I do have just one dog. But you know what I'm saying. If I'm into something, you know, there's got to be a backup. Oh, my camera just woohoo!
Yeah, I was the other day, my camera set up in here. I had a real orange face, and I looked like a. Who was it? Jordan, Mad Monkey. Somebody had made a comment. I looked like an Oompa Loompa. So I was so orange.
But yeah, flying in lions, like I was saying, I flew line of sight, and your mind has to always be in the pilot seat. Even when it's coming back at you, you got to be thinking, you know, that what I always did is I always like kind of like turn my body a little bit. And that way I kind of got the orientation, and then I could look back at it. And so I got good at it, you know what I'm saying? But FPV, man, you're always in the pilot seat. So, and it's like, wow, I can't get enough of it, man. I wish that if I could just, I got my part 107, you know, because my intention was to like hopefully turn this into either an alternative means of income or like a new job, man, where if I landed the right like contacts and stuff, I could quit my day job, you know?
I've got Sunlu. They sent me out some PETG e-notepad, which is a Sunlu company, sent me out the PETG that I done the video on. And another person with Sunlu is sending me out their filament dryer to do a review on and some PLA, but it's not coming for a couple weeks. But like I said, I've got the Corality Ender 3 version 2 right now that I'm currently printing a cat. And then I'm going to do the dog. I'll edit all day long tomorrow and get the video put up probably tomorrow night. And then I have a lot of other videos I want to do on the Ender 3 V2. But so far, it looks really cool. I've got 4 other Enders and 1 in the box. So I guess I could say I know a lot about the Ender 3s. So I hope to get a lot of their printers in the future and do more build reviews and such. So we'll see how it goes. See what we got here in comments.
Isn't that what we were just doing, I think?
Jester's 3D Tabletop Gaming. We had a fancy helicopter back in the day. They flew it too high. It locked controls and never stopped raising into the air. That's one flight was epic. Search the fields for hours. Well, I hope you found it. So
I never lost one, but I crashed a bunch.
You can put some kind of a beacon on them. I think I heard about it years ago. In case you lost it, you could try to track it and figure out where it went down at.
Yeah, here technology's come a long way when it comes to flying, dude, man.
The bad thing about FPV, if you go out and buy a pair of goggles right now in 6 months or a year, or they add a date and something better came along that was $20 more. I mean, It's like computers. You keep upgrading and upgrading, and then a few years later, your computer's a dinosaur, and you got to spend more money to do some more upgrades to get
They're
bigger
not
and
really
better
coming
faster.
out that quick with it, but the flight controllers and the ESCs and the stuff like that's come a long way. The really expensive part of the hobby really um let me rephrase it. The hobby is expensive. And to get into it in a high level, it's expensive. And if you really fly, like yesterday I flew one pack. I got home, it rained all day. It finally stopped raining. I'm like, I'm gonna go fly for a minute. I flew, it bounced off the ground just a little bit, and then it popped up, and I just disarmed, and it was like eye level, and it dropped, and that's it. It cost me $68 to fix it. It's an expensive hobby, but the stuff is like, it's so easy to build now. Back in the day, they were like disassembling like nunchucks from the Wii. You know, for the gyro in it, that's where they were getting the gyro, was they were disassembling like perfectly functioning stuff. They go out and buy it just to tear it apart and build a quadcopter out of Arduino boards and making their own boards, you know, some crazy stuff that the fathers of the FPV, the quad, the model aviation industry, the hobby itself, these guys are just geniuses, man. I'm just like a consumer. Now, I can put the stuff together, I can program it, I can fly it, but I ain't inventing shit. Like these guys are coming up with some crazy shit. Now, I designed a circuit board today, and I got a couple extra things on there for you guys. Let's check it out. You know, I'm like soldering the stuff up. I'm good at all that. You know, I'm good at the hardware and, you know, applying the software, but I ain't like tweaking. The PID stuff that I was talking, you know, 3D printers, they got an auto where it'll like go up and it'll ramp up and it'll fluctuate and it'll change itself. That's what the auto PID in a 3D printer's doing. It's like it's changing it, going through these parameters and like spits it out where it stops going over and overshooting, and then undershooting is where it's got trying to keep it nice and level, you know, and then it spits out this number, and then you spit that number into the little thing. And if you do another tuning, you know, then you get that number a little closer. Quadcopters, you got to go out and you got to, all right, it's doing this. I got to change this. Some of these guys, there's one dude, like that's all he does. He dives in, you know, to the, like the technical, where all the movements of the quadcopter are can be recorded and interpolated with like these things on the screen, and this dude's telling, you know, about this, and it's like blows my mind. It's too much for me to take, and I'm gonna go fly it.
Well, everybody in chat, I'm going to call this a wrap. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to start streaming every week based on who I have on. It's going to be what's convenient with them, because everybody's busy out there in the world, and a lot of people most people are stuck at home. But every week on whatever day, I'll give advance notice. I want to do a live stream. I'm hoping to get Joe on here in the future. I talked to him, messaged him on Twitter, and I got a response. So we'll see if we can set something up. And I'd like to have some really cool people on, whether they're important or just regular day-to-day people that are in this hobby and they love it and they got a lot of stuff they want to show and share. But please like and subscribe, share the video. I'd really appreciate it. Leave a comment. And I thank you very much for coming, everybody. Matt, stick around, and I'll talk to you here in a minute. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks everybody for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe to both of us. Hit that like button.